Hi, friend, and welcome back to Marvelous Friends, your home for all things Marvel Cinematic Universe and beyond. I'm Rhett, and it is time for the series finale of Jessica Jones. Roll that credit. Following Trisha's murder of Salinger at the courthouse, everything is kind of in chaos. Jessica fully having to go after Trish now for these final events of the series finale. Jerry will be heavily involved here, her setting up right at the beginning of this episode, reaching out to Jessica to reaffirm Trish that their agreement is good and she will not reveal Trish's identity. However, it's too late. She's in too deep with Trish, as we will see, as her being very, very involved with the next following events. Luke Cage makes an appearance now. He coming in to introduce Jessica's story to the Raft. The Raft is the kind of super prison for all the MCU baddies out there. The kind of major reference to this in the films comes from the end of Civil War. That's where several of the people are held after the events of Civil War, and all of them are taken in. Now, he kind of does all this in reference to his brother and talking about how difficult it is to send someone away to there that they care about so much. He says all this, though, as if he knows that this vigilante is Trish as well, and that he's been tagging along this entire time, which was kind of a weird interaction to me. However, it was still great. I do think, though, this interaction is what ultimately has Jessica choosing to not stay with Eric, kind of remembering how good her relationship was with Luke and all of that. I could be wrong, but again, we'll get back to that at the very end when we kind of talk about those wrap-ups for the series. Jessica is able to track Trish down to her apartment where she is waiting to be taken in, or so it seems. She asks Jessica to let her use the bathroom before she goes in, and Jessica falls for the oldest trick in the book, made only easier for Trish to jump out the bathroom window, considering she always lands on her feet, one of her two powers she has. It was just a kind of idiot move, and so now Trish is back out on the run, and who does she turn to but, of course, Jerry, who is involved with all this now far too much. Her trying to go through with the idea of going after Dimitri and getting the information Jerry needs for the Kith case to kind of prove to Jessica that she's not the monster that she thinks that she is. However, of course, Trish takes this too far, and going past the point of receiving that confession from Dimitri, starts to head into that dangerous murdery territory. Luckily for Dimitri, his daughter is home and has called the police, her revealing herself, begging Trish not to kill her father. Trish, of course, immediately breaks out of her kind of wrathful daze, saying that she was never going to, and freaks out and runs away. Now, this, of course, saves Dimitri, and I was hoping that this would be the moment that kind of redeems Trish when she sees the fear on the little girl's eyes, much to how she would have kind of felt as a little girl seeing her dad beat her mother. But nope. Malcolm reveals to Jessica the connections between Jerry and Trish and Dimitri, causing Jessica to head straight over to Jerry to confront her about her involvement in all this and supplying targets to Trish, basically accusing her of being an addict's drug dealer in a way. And so because of this, Jessica decides to use Jerry as bait, the next day having Jerry appear on TV saying that she has received evidence of who the masked vigilante is and plans to reveal it soon. The two of them then waiting for Trish to show up. Unfortunately, though, it's Kith who shows up first to thank Jerry for sending the masked vigilante after Dimitri, who has dropped the charges. At this exact point, Trish shows up as well, and a full-on standoff between the four pursues as Jessica joins the party from the other room as well. During this standoff, Trish takes Kith captive and kind of holds her as a body shield, this throwing Jerry into a panic, and spends the rest of the scene begging for Kith's safety, at one point pulling a gun from a nearby cabinet. She, of course, then turns this on Jess as she promises to let herself go in place of Kith if Trish will let go and make sure that Kith is safe. And in a flash, everything kind of happens at once. Trish lets go of Kith, Jerry goes over, and Jessica tries to stop them. Jessica gets shot by Jerry. It all kind of in a flash happens, but needless to say, Trish gets away with Jerry, and Kith and Jessica are left behind, and again, Jessica is left to pursue the other two. As promised, Jerry arranges for said transport out of the country for Trish, taking her to an airfield where a man transports criminals out of the country. He does so by using coffins that he already transports for the government to war-torn areas, having some of them specially rigged up for oxygen and long travel usage for those who he needs to transport, making a nice little lucrative side business for him. I'm sure if Trish ever has the option, she would probably come back for him as well. Now, at the same time all this is going on, Jessica has gone to the kind of last resort option here and revealed Trish's identity to the public, hoping that someone would spot her and potentially give them a lead to where to go. And someone does pull through, having spotted Jerry and Trish heading to said airfield. Jessica immediately heads that way. As Jessica arrives to the airfield, Jerry has made it to a phone and is actually attempting to call Jessica to reveal where Trish is, crossing paths at the exact same moment on the phone. Pointing out Trish's direction and where she is hiding, Jessica goes for the final showdown. This final showdown between the sisters is actually quite intense and a decent battle sequence as we see them fighting throughout the entire kind of storage facility. At one point, Trish does get the upper hand by cornering Jessica into a hallway where she knocks out all the lights using that night power vision that she does have, though Jessica, being super strong, is able just to kind of absorb her hits until she has a chance to grab hold and fling her back into the well-lit main space. Here, Jessica challenges Trish to do what she always claims that she can do that Jessica can't, and prove it to her. At this point, Trish has pulled a knife out on Jessica, which has kind of shown that she has gone to an extreme and really willing to do this, taking a flying leap with the knife at Jessica. Jessica puts up her hand and is able to stop Trish by causing the knife to only go through her hand. At this kind of realization of what just happened, Trish's facial expression really changes from one of pure rage and anger to complete shock as what just happened really settles in. And it's not until a moment later on in the next scene that she has to verbally admit and come to terms with exactly everything she's happened. This done with Costa in a detainment room, him being fully put back on the force after being able to take Salinger in and proving that he was in fact right the entire time and that he was guilty and tied to all the murders. Now, he lists out all these accusations and charges that she has against her and reveals that she will be given off to higher custody. It's not sure if this is the government or potentially even S.H.I.E.L.D. in this instant. The one kind of thing that really does hit her really hard when he's listing off these charges, though, is the attempted murder of her sister. Really kind of showing her and that being the one charge that gets her to ultimately admit that, yes, I have become the bad guy. Here we start to kind of begin that montage of wrapping up all those stories of the series. We see Jessica say her goodbyes to Eric, who promises to become a hero in his own way. In the next sequence, seeing Costa approach him at the bar as they begin their partnership moving forward to become as good of a hero as they can be. We also see Jessica turn over Alias investigations to Malcolm as putting him in charge as she seems to be leaving town. Next we get a shot of Jerry in her final resolution with Kith, who arrives one last time. Kith revealing that she is not going to be staying with her to Jerry's disappointment, claiming that she was only reached out to by Jerry because she is dying, as Jerry has at this point now also revealed that she has ALS and will not have much longer to live. Kith adding in a little final dig here, saying that since she has made these choices in her life, that is exactly what's going to happen. We also see at this time in this series of scenes, her kind of give her official goodbye to Trish, who is loaded up on a helicopter and shipped off to the raft. Again, there's a lot of questions here that I have. What happens to Trish? I mean, this isn't the end of her. I don't know. We now see that Jessica arrives at a train station looking to buy a ticket to Mexico as close as she can get. Here we hear the little bit of fragment of Kilgrave's mind control that is still present in Jessica to this day kind of surface and taunt her for trying to run and hide from everything that she has just done. This causing Jessica to turn around and about face, leave the train station, and to continue her life in New York as a hero, I assume. This isn't really clear. There's not much left. I have questions. Lots of questions. I had this issue again with the Phoenix whole thing. This was not a good resolution. Oh well, it is what it is. I do enjoy how the series ended. I like the final showdown. Everything was good in this episode. It's just the resolution. Again, it's a problem. The Dark Phoenix had a bad resolution, and it was a close of that entire franchise. This is a close of not only this franchise, but Netflix shows as a whole within the MCU. So I just wanted that kind of final closing. I think, honestly, in my opinion, her actually leaving for Mexico would have been a better resolution. It really closing the book of her time as a hero in New York and her leaving that life behind. Her kind of turning around and heading back into it just says, okay, so what's next? I want more. There needs to be more. I also did like the Luke Cage appearance, but I would have liked to see more of it. It would have been really cool to see more of the Defenders pop up, maybe as a kind of tribute to all of them in their series on Netflix, to have them all team up for this one final showdown against Trish. Though, if any of them are going to make an appearance, it does make sense that it's Luke Cage, as he has the closest relationship to Jessica. What did you think, though, of all this? Did you like the season finale? Did you like the series finale at that? Let me know down in those comments if you would have changed the ending any different like I would have. I am, of course, going to be doing a full 5 and 5 review for this season as a whole, so make sure you subscribe and set those alerts so you can get that as soon as I post that here in the next, hopefully, few days. I might be taking a slight break from Jessica Jones because this has been a huge project to go through. Like I said, this is my first series I ran through and done these videos for, and it has been a lot of work, and I need just a little break from talking about the same thing every single day. So, until then, though, I love you all 3,000. I hope you have a marvelous rest of your day. Bye, friend!